Good evening, everyone. So, hi, everyone. If everybody could, we're going to go through the agenda quickly, and then we'll give everybody a few more minutes to chat with their students. Carly, let me know when we're live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Caucus this evening. If someone wouldn't mind saying who is here, would be appreciated.
Adams.
Present.
Nani. Vallerin. Brody.
Present.
Farrell.
Here.
Flynn.
Present.
Hoey.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Jones.
Present.
Keegan.
Here.
Lumpkin.
Present.
Powell. Robinson. Williamson.
Present.
Zamer.
Present.
Also present, we have Council President Kelly Kimbrough, myself, Shaniqua Jackson, City Clerk, Research Council, Robert Winter, and Corporation Council, Martha Motzkowitz. We're also joined by Councilmember Robinson.
Thank you so much. And Council Policy Analyst Carly Johnson.
I apologize. We also are joined by Carly Johnson.
Just because she's
Policy
got
Analyst.
her new title now, so I was like, oh, I get to flex the new title. So welcome to Youth and Government Night, everyone. I'll go through the agenda, but this evening, what we're going to have is, this is an opportunity for the students to kind of go through a meeting and see how things go. So Brian has been kind enough to provide scripts for everyone, I believe. The students are in highlighted yellow for when that's appropriate. Also, we kind of leave it up to the council member, but we'll often allow or encourage our students to vote for us. So if you're going to be voting for a law or something like that and you want to co-sponsor it, just tell the student, yes, co-sponsor please, or yes or no, however you want to vote on that. We also will be, so that's the main thing tonight, and feel free to take a few moments and chat with them and kind of go through things. So what we'll do is we'll go through the agenda. This evening, we have the May 4th minutes. And a quick note for the committee section, unless you have something typed up for your student to read, you can just take care of that yourself if you have, if you're doing a committee report. Then in local laws introduced, we have local law I of 2026 from Councilmember Keegan. That will go to finance. Councilmember Keegan, did you want to say anything about that?
Just very quickly, so this will improve the definitions of what counts towards the 4% mark when it comes to monies that are moved through the Board of Estimate and Apportionment. One of the issues and concerns that were raised regarding the budget crisis was that over the years, the city has moved funds and counted them as appropriations, which does not count towards the 4% calculation. So whereas the city has sort of exceeded that 4% of budget transfers when you account for appropriations, and therefore should have triggered more oversight from the council, that was not happening. So this is kind of going back to address changes that the council had put through in 2021 and flush out the intent of those changes so that we don't have those issues going forward.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll be introducing local law J of 2026 from Councilmember Hoey. That will go to council operations. Do you want to say anything, Councilmember Hoey?
Yeah, real fast, I brought this up at Caucus last week. The reason we have, this is kind of an emergency, get this local law passed. When we did the local law about 7 years ago, we left out that if there's a need for an emergency meeting, you'd be able to have it, because right now you have a 10-day notice that you have to give to get legislation introduced. So this local law will take care of that and allow for emergency meetings to take place, under certain circumstances. Thank you.
The rest of the local laws will be held and ordinances held. We don't have any ordinances introduced this week. We have ordinance 105126 from Councilmember Keegan. We'll be voting on that this evening. From Councilmember Adams, ordinance 115126. We'll be voting on that this evening. Did you want to say anything, Councilmember Keegan? I know that one's a pretty straightforward one.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially allowing an easement to put in a rain garden onto the property because they are not able to attach or have the location of the property is unable to connect with stormwater, the sewer lines for stormwater. And so they are building a rain garden and filtration system to address that issue.
Excellent. Councilmember Adams, did you want to say anything about ordinance 115126?
Thank you. Thank you. Just as a update from our previous committee meeting, again, the ordinance here seeks to address the updating and modernization of vending throughout the city. We've updated the terms and definitions within the legislation to also include healthy foods as well as mobile vending opportunities. So we look at this as an opportunity to bring economic development here to the city by spurring entrepreneurship. We also look at this as a way to provide access to foods in food deserts. So I hope this evening you can support this legislation as we look to move the city of Albany forward and grow our economy. And I'll share this with the other co-sponsor for a few words.
Thank you, Councilman Adams. And like the councilman stressed, entrepreneurship is very important in this day and age in the communities where we live. And I believe, instituting a healthy a diet or foods that can be accessed, within the community, it would bring economic, and also can teach our kids economics, can teach our kids responsibility, can teach our kids, it is more ways to make money than just doing devious things in the streets. So I look forward to everybody signing on to this bill, having it passed anonymously tonight. Thank you.
Excellent. In resolutions introduced from Councilmember Adams, we have resolution 365226. We are all co-sponsors of that. That is honoring May as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Next, we have resolution 375226R from Councilmember Flynn. We're all co-sponsors on that. That is recognizing and celebrating May as Mental Health Awareness Month in the city of Albany. Next, we have resolution 385226R from Councilmember Adams. We're all co-sponsoring. That is recognizing May 2026 as Bike Month in the city of Albany. Next, we have from Councilmember Powell, resolution 395226R. That will go to SECRA. That's for, that will go to planning. That is for a SECRA review resolution for the Rap Road Transfer Station. And then we have a lot of very exciting resolutions introduced by a majority consent. And I'm going to go through them. Some of them I think we will be co-sponsor, I'll offer to all co-sponsor. There's a couple that we might want to individually vote on, so I will just kind of hold back on those. So, Resolution 405226R from Councilmember Anane, that will be to recognize youth in government, the Youth in Government event. All co-sponsors on that one? Is that, yes. Next from Councilmember Ballerin, Resolution 415226R, a resolution to encourage the state legislature to pass the New York Health Plan, and I will allow that to go individual vote because that's specific legislation. From Councilmember Brody, Resolution 425226R, a resolution recognizing May 20th as World Bee Day in the city of Albany. All co-sponsors on that one? We'll say that is a yes. Next from myself, Councilmember Farrell, Resolution 435226R, recognizing May 31st as World No Tobacco Day in the city of Albany. All co-sponsors? I take that also as a yes. Next from Councilmember Johnson, Resolution 445226R, a resolution celebrating the growth of the South End Children's Cafe that provides food security and enrichment to our community's children. All co-sponsors? Everyone should be a co-sponsor on this one. Next from Councilmember Jones, Resolution 455226R, a resolution recognizing May 4th through 7th as National Air Quality Awareness Week. All co-sponsors on that one. Next from Councilmember Lumpkin, Resolution 465226R, resolution declaring Monday, May 25th to be Memorial Day in the city of Albany and honoring America's fallen soldiers. All co-sponsors. Next, we have from Councilmember Robinson, Resolution 475226R, a resolution recognizing May 3rd through May 9th as National Small Business Week and celebrating entrepreneurship in the city of Albany. All co-sponsors? Yes. Next from Councilmember Williamson, Resolution 485226R, a resolution of the Common Council recognizing May is ALS Awareness Month. I don't usually pronounce that first word, but we're going to stick with ALS. All co-sponsors on that? Yes. Next from Councilmember Zamer, Resolution 495229R, resolution of the Common Council celebrating the 78th Annual Tulip Festival in the city of Albany. Co-sponsors, everyone? Yes. From Councilmember Flynn, we have Resolution 505226R, a resolution urging the city of Albany to halt installation of a battery storage system until the council has adopted new legislation. That we will be doing individual votes on. Councilmember Flynn, did you want to say anything about that?
No, I have a little speech written up for her, but basically we just want the city to halt any operations until we get further data and information.
Excellent. Councilmember Keegan?
If I may, as one of the co-sponsors, how this sort of came about, or the conversation came about, is that National Grid has put out a bid for battery storage, and it is incredibly important for the city to have that technology. It provides sort of a safety net for the system overall, but we don't currently have anything on the books that says where and when that battery storage can happen. And the current site that's been proposed is in significantly close proximity to residential housing and residential property. And one of the things that I would note is that there's really no way to put out fires. If they catch on fire, they just burn out, which means that you would have, for an unknown period of time, a potential pretty toxic fire going near a highly residential area. We have had meetings with the planning department, which has included Councilmember Zamer, Councilmember Flynn and myself to kind of go over what the proposed guidance from NYSERDA is. And one of the other things that we asked for the planning department to sort of take back from that conversation was to also take a look at the potential for city-owned property to be utilized for this and for the city to actually bid on the lease, because it would produce significant income for the city if we had an appropriate parcel. And so it's just important that folks in the room have some of the background context as to why we were looking at that resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this evening, what we will do is we will go through the normal course of the agenda. Students, so you're aware, you'll see an agenda on the desk, but basically we do the roll call, Council President will do a welcome and go right into the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we do a moment of silence. We do that, there used to be a prayer a long time ago, and the council, I think before any of us were on it, made the choice to shift to a moment of silence so that anybody could think about whatever blessing they would like to bestow our proceedings. After that, we will have public comment. I don't think we're taking anything out of order today. Are we taking anything out of order? Absolutely. Are people here from the South End? Oh, yes, they are. I can. Yeah. So, Council President, we're going to take the South End Children's Cafe one out of order. So we'll have to, maybe we can, Bobby, should we do all of the MCs or at that point, or just if we want to take the South End Children's Cafe one out of order, should we just take, like, MC that one, or should we MC the whole list and then just take that one out of order?
Probably easier to just MC the whole list then and take that one out of order.
Okay.
Saves a little time.
All right. So we'll be MCing everything, then we'll take that one out of order, and we can do that before public comment. So we'll do that before public comment. So for students, a lot of times we're fortunate to have people come into the chamber when we do a resolution. And so what we'll do is we'll often take things out of order. We love for people to stay for our meetings, but sometimes people don't necessarily want to or have time to stay through the entire meeting. They'd prefer to watch it at home, or maybe they're not watching it this evening. And they'll be able to actually get the resolution. We usually take a picture, and then we can move on to the rest of the meeting agenda. And then the people are able to stay, of course. We love people staying, but they can also go forth and do other good things. And in the example of the South End Children's Cafe, we know that they're doing great things. So we'll be taking that one out of order. That will be before public comment. Then we'll get into public comment. And before we do any of that, we're going to do a special dispensation to allow the students to speak for us officially in our procedures. So that's something that we actually say, that we allow the students to do that. And then what I'd like to do is maybe during miscellaneous, we can defer that time to the students, and we can have each of our students introduce themselves, say, you know, what they're doing, what year they are in school, if they're a senior and they have any idea what they're doing next year, maybe give us a little bit of info on that. But just briefly tell us who you are during miscellaneous so we can get to know a little bit. And then for any of your parents that are watching at home, they can get to see you on the screen too. So with that, I will turn it over to Council President.
Okay. It is now 7:01. We'll start the meeting. Welcome everyone to the Monday, May 18th meeting of the Albany Common Council. Madam,
I'll read the
clerk,
roll.
please read the roll.
Adams,
Present.
Anani,
Present.
Valorant,
Present.
Brody,
Present.
Farrell,
Present.
Flynn,
Present.
Hoey,
Present.
Johnson,
Present.
Jones,
Present.
Keegan,
Present.
Lumpkin,
Present.
Powell,
Present.
Robinson,
Present.
Williamson,
Present.
Zamer,
Present.
15 present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Okay, into the welcome. Again, welcome, Monday, May 18th, meeting of the council. It's our Youth and Government Night. Welcome to all the students here. It's my understanding is most of you, if not all, are from Albany High, right? Is that correct? So thank you all for being here. With that, let's stand for the pledge, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. Be seated. Okay, we'll start with Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to temporarily amend the rules of procedure to allow the Albany Common Council youth and government representatives to make motions, offer committee reports, and read legislation on behalf of their assigned committee, council member, or city official for the duration of the May 18th, 2026 meeting of the Albany Common Council while their assigned member or official is presently in the chambers and has authorized that action.
Thank you.
Second.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Mr. Holy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Again, welcome, students. Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to add Resolution 405226R through 505226R to the agenda via majority consent.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Hoey again? Excuse me, Ms. Keegan. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? See none. The motion passes. Okay, Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to take Resolution 445226R out of order.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Hoey, in keeping with tradition,
That's it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 445226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council celebrating the growth of the South End Children's Cafe that provides food security and enrichment to our community's children.
Discussion, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you see, it says the South End Children's Cafe, they address food securities, but they do a lot more. And in a time where you can have something today and it can be gone tomorrow, I think it's important for us to, put the spotlight and send a message to the people that are doing the work in the Second Ward that the Common Council is watching, and we appreciate their effort. And there's a lot of turmoil in my ward, but the one good, constant, positive thing is the South End Children's Cafe. And, you know, I extended invitations before to my colleagues, but if you want to see excellence with our kids, if you want to see what a little love does for our kids, come down to the cafe. My best friend, his name is Reverend Elander Lewis. You know, he just asked, he said, D, do things out of love. If you try to do things out of love, you usually land where you need to be. And, you know, I felt it was important to bring Tracy here as well. I'm glad to see Antoinette with her, the president, the board president of the cafe, but they lead out of love all the time. And that's important because sometimes the only consistent love that our kids get is when they go places. They go places in our community and they come in contact with special adults. And, you know, whenever I get a chance to speak at the cafe, I always talk about the consistency that they provide our kids. And, you know, it's actually magic because sometimes I see those same kids from 8 to 4 and they're totally different. But when you go to the cafe, they have the ability to receive whatever message, whatever goal, whatever project that they're working on. So from the bottom of my heart, you know, I'm thankful for the consistency that they bring. And again, we are in the business of trying to highlight the positive things that are going on in our community. And, you know, I wanted to take this time out tonight to make sure that they receive their flowers and much more. And again, I say thank you for what you do night in and night out.
Any further discussion? Mr. Nani?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also want to thank Councilmember Johnson for introducing this resolution. Sorry. I've known Tracy for quite some time now. She's a friend and former resident of the 10th Ward neighborhood, and I just want to say I appreciate everything that you're doing for our city. You know, I'm a big supporter of, many of us in this room are big supporters of after-school programs because, you know what, kids are always learning, and when the 3 o'clock bell ring, doesn't mean that they stop learning. It's who they learning from at the time, and I just want to commend you for always investing in our youth and investing in the South End. I know, again, we're so proud of you, and hopefully you get enough resources where you could expand to maybe the Pine Hills Children's Cafe. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you for Southern Children's Cafe.
Ms. Farrell?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to add my thanks to my colleague for bringing this forward, but also huge thanks to Tracy and Tony for all of their work that they do. The South End Children's Cafe is based in the South End and has made a huge difference there, but that impact can be felt citywide. And it is absolutely incredibly important, and we're so lucky for all of the work. And I will say, if there is ever any time or resources that anybody has, if there's anybody that can put you to work and to help use those resources, it is the people at the South End Children's Cafe. So I really commend their ability to create magic out of a lot of different tiny pieces all over the place and weaving them together to just something amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson?
Thank you, Mr. President. And also like to thank my colleague, Councilman Johnson, for bringing this resolution forward. You know, there's a saying that anybody can do something once, but the consistency is what makes things happen. As long as I can say that I was doing charity work in my community, so was the South End Children's Cafe. When I was doing Feed Albany with the county legislator, late Matt Peters, South End Cafe was on the South End doing what they had to do to touch these kids. Even if it was from a meal to get them to the doors and then teach them educational and life skills, they done that. And I just want to commend them for their consistency of staying active in the community, touching our children and giving them something else to do, because we lack that in our communities. So that's big on your organization, and I fully support you, and I have my eye on you over the years, and just keep doing what you're doing, because you're making an impact not only in the South End, but in communities at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Okay, with that being said, we're all, or you're all, co-sponsors on it. So do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
So, Tracy and Tony, we would love for you to come up, and we'll take a picture, and I would assume that you would actually love the students in the picture with. Yeah, so everybody, we're gonna just squeeze in, and we're gonna make it work.
Say light up. It's live.
Okay, we're going to start our public comment period. Can they hear me? Okay, we're about to start public comment period. Public comment period is a period during the meeting where the public can have a seat and speak for 5 minutes on the topic of their choice. It's a period in the meeting where you're providing comment to the council. We're not interacting with you, we're receiving comment. When you Once you sit, give us your name and address, and then you may begin. There is a light on the table there. It counts down, so be mindful of that as you move forward. Please call the first speaker, Madam Clerk.
Our first speaker is Carl Ulrich.
Hi, I'm Carl Urich. I live on Lenox Ave in Albany. Just a bit off script. I mean, it's really exciting to see students from Albany High here, to see sort of the good and the bad and the easy and the difficult of how democracy works. So congratulations for taking some time to participate tonight. So I previously have spoken about our budget process, our city's finances. Tonight I'll share some quick thoughts on the city requesting assistance from the State Comptroller's Division of Local Government Accountability. In last week's Finance Committee meeting, council members discussed requesting assistance from the Comptroller's Office. As Councilmember Keegan noted, several City of Albany residents have already reached out to the Division of Local Government Accountability. The ball is rolling, and the Comptroller's Office is wondering if any City of Albany government official will be reaching out to them. I'm one of the people who's made a formal request to the Comptroller's Office. I know of at least 2 other people who have made a similar request. I want to review why I made the request, why I believe that engaging the Comptroller is a positive move, and address some of the concerns that the Common Council members may have. First of all, why did I make this request? The city, in my opinion, is facing an existential crisis. Our finances have fallen off of a financial cliff. I suppose that those are debatable comments. However, I see them as reasonable assessments. If the city makes all the right moves for the next 3 to 5 years, we can stabilize the finances of the city. Given that, we need as much brain power and financial crisis management expertise as possible. The Comptroller has this expertise, and we can receive this expertise upon request. In lieu of the administration making this request for essential resources, I made the request as a citizen, and that's the reason why I made the request. Why do I believe the Comptroller can help us? I didn't make this request lightly, on a lark, on a whim. Here are 3 of several reasons why I believe it's a good thing to bring the Comptroller in. First of all, because Robert Ward said so. You may remember Bob Ward was here on April 15th, formerly of the Comptroller's Office. He spoke very eloquently before the Common Council, recommending the city request the Comptroller's assistance. If Bob Ward says it's a good thing, then by gosh, it's a good thing. Secondly, we can examine the Division of Local Government Accountability's work and its relevance. The division posts its audits on its website. I read through a couple dozen of their local government audits. These audits contain critical thinking and recommendations that are representative of the things our city would value. These audits are something that everyone can read. They're a little on the dry side, so pour a cup of coffee, but reading them will help demystify the work that the Comptroller can bring to the table for the City of Albany. And thirdly, because second opinions are a good thing. If I needed a major medical procedure, I'd get a second opinion. And even if we have the smartest, most capable finance team for the City of Albany, I would still want to bring in more people to get their points of view, to validate or provide a contrarian point of view. I can appreciate that supporting a request to the Comptroller might concern members of the Common Council. You might think that we're making a hasty decision, to which I reply that the clock is ticking and we can't afford to waste a day. You may have heard the Treasurer speak about not wanting the Comptroller intervention to overload his staff. He suggested delaying the audit. I feel confident that this is not the Comptroller's first rodeo. They know how to navigate and keep disruptions to a minimum. Lastly, there may be political concerns. They're requesting the Comptroller's assistance is viewed as a lack of confidence in the administration. Political realities go right over my head, so I'm not sure what to say other than, I think about what is best for the citizens of Albany, now and long term. So I've said all that to say this. Please consider signing on to the Common Council's request for assistance from the Controller's Division of Local Government Accountability. It's the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, please call the next speaker.
Our next speaker is Anaya A.
Bonsoir, comment nous y? Oh, bien? Ah, somebody speaks a little French here. Good evening, it's your girl Anaya A. I am Haitian American. I mentioned that a little bit before when I was here, I think, I'm not sure. Either way, I'm a new resident of Albany, and this evening, I'm not coming to start any trouble or share any bad news, because you guys have been doing a lot better. First of all, give it up for yourselves, guys. You can, yes, yes, yes. No, I'm saying that to say, in the past couple of months, real quick before I get to this next part, I have been watching and I've been seeing a lot of changes in the community as of late. So for me, that's outstanding because of the political agenda that we're in presently, but also whenever you see somebody doing an effort or making an effort as you young people are getting older, please always acknowledge them, and that will help change the narrative in a lot of our communities. So when I see the changes, when I see the events, when I see the positive remarks on other people's pages in regards to what you guys are doing, it really makes me happy. With that being said, this evening I wanted to talk about Haitian Flag Day real quick. I am Haitian American, and it's unfortunate that I don't even have my Haitian flag with me due to the past few months and the circumstances that I've been dealing with as I've relocated from the city to Albany. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to represent for my country, for my people, and share just a few words about what Haiti means to myself and so many people during these times. Right now, we're going through a lot in Haiti as the president was assassinated a few years ago. If you guys haven't heard, tonight you'll understand that Haiti is in a very bad situation. However, people like myself have a lot of hope. We are going to continue to fight for the country. We're going to continue to help educate those that don't comprehend what's happening in Haiti, and that Haiti is not what people think. Haiti has been under attack for many years. We got our freedom in 1804 after fighting for justice and for slavery around the world. We were the first freed slaves or captured people, and we try to help every nation, including the United States of America. We sent over 500 soldiers to fight for this country. If the Haitian soldiers did not fight, over 500 of them, believe it or not, you all would be speaking French as well. So with that being said, I wanted to acknowledge my people and share that there's a lot of misconceptions about Caribbean countries, African countries, and those that are just different from people here in America. But I think God has given me the strength and the power to share certain things with different communities so that we can all live happily under God's green earth, or on God's green earth, under his blue skies, right? So with that being said, I wanted to say merci beaucoup. Moi tellement apprécié nous toutes pour ça n'a fait dans la communauté ça, et moi souhaiter nous toutes camper ensemble. L'union fait la force. Bon après-midi, bonne soirée.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, call the next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Edward Brennan.
Thank you very much. My name is Ed Brennan, 389 McCormick Road. Speaking here on two respects as president of the Albany Bicycle Coalition about the bike resolution, and also as acting president of the Norman Skill Neighborhood Association with respect to the battery proposal in the area. As president of Albany Bicycle Coalition, at the Bicycle Coalition, we've been happily spinning our wheels here in Albany for the past 21 years. And we want to thank the many members of the council that joined to introduce the resolution to make May Bike Month for the city of Albany. We've been seeing a lot more people on bicycles. We're happy to say that infrastructure has been improving in Albany for people that ride bikes. And also with respect to the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit that the city put in place, the speed humps on residential roads, and the school zone speed cameras, we have to say our roads are safer and they feel safer, and this is getting more people to be able to get out there on bicycles. Along with ABC, in the past few years, we've also seen a lot more groups like Capital Streets that are like us. They're advocates for active transportation. We've seen Albany Social Cycling getting more people exploring the city of Albany on bicycles. And we also now have the free volunteer Albany Bike Valet service that has been here at a couple of festivals and events around the city, so people can enjoy riding their bicycle to events, leaving their cars at home, less parking problems and congestion for everybody. The city has a very good bicycle and pedestrian plan. It does have a long way to go. We are hopeful that the Active Transportation Advisory Commission that this Common Council created about a year ago, that this commission will become active and put into operation so that we can see some progress in that bike ped plan. As president of the Albany, the Normanskill Neighborhood Association, I want to speak in favor of Mr. Flynn's resolution. A few weeks ago, we had over 80 people at our Normanskill Neighborhood Association, which was the biggest turnout we've had for many years in the neighborhood. I don't recall any of the neighbors speaking in favor of putting the lithium-ion battery unit near our homes. And generally, given concerns about fires and toxic fumes that can come from those fires, it is not appropriate for really any residential area in any part of the city. But thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan.
Our next speaker is Tessa Hughes.
Good evening. My name is Tessa Hughes. I recently closed on a home on Zuni Street. I purchased this home believing I was joining a quiet residential neighborhood, not potentially living beside a battery storage system. Buying my first home at the age of 25 was one of the proudest and biggest decisions of my life. I chose this neighborhood because it is quiet, safe, and felt like the kind of place I could build my future. Had I had known that this was being considered for the residential area, I likely never would have purchased the home. I support responsible clean energy development, and I am not denying the need for these facilities. But these kind of facilities do not belong in residential areas where families live, children play, and where emergency access may already be limited due to the neighborhood layout. The past few weeks, since hearing about this proposal from my new neighbors, I have done some research on these types of facilities and reading articles on the tragic incidents involving battery storage facilities like the one that is being proposed in our neighborhood. While I do not believe that I am the person who should educate decision makers on the risk in real-life incidents that have already occurred, a quick Google search reveals countless concerns raised by communities, firefighters, and experts around the country. These facilities may have a place, but many residents, including myself, do not believe that the place is within a quiet residential neighborhood where families have invested their lives, homes, and futures. When doing research, I came across a quote from a New York State senator in regard to these facilities and the decision-making around the location that stuck with me. He said, "Our children's safety and our community's peace of mind must always remain our #1 priority." I am requesting that the decision makers have the same priority in mind making their final decision on this proposal. In the end, this is not about opposing progress or clean energy. It is about protecting the safety, character, and future of the neighborhood that so many of us chose to call home. We invested in this community believing it would remain a quiet residential area, not becoming the site of an industrial-scale infrastructure. I respectfully ask that the concerns of the residents who live here every day be genuinely considered before any decision that can permanently change the place we work so hard to be a part of is made.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our last speaker is Obar Robinson.
Test, test. Charles Obar Robinson, 404 Livingston Avenue, Albany, New York. Graduate of Albany High School, class of 78. Top 15 percentile in the class of 1,000. Graduated SUNY New Paltz, 1984. Albany High prepared me very well. I did very well in college, thanks to Albany High. Government. Of the people, by the people, for the people. That's not my saying. I was born into a society. I was born in the country. I went to school, and they taught that to me. But I lived a life that constantly contradicted that. I'm 66 years old. I look around this room, I might see one person that's as old as me or older in me. I know what I lived through. We evolved to something currently right now that for the first time in my physical journey in life, I'm seeing something. Starting with this Common Council, this body. But yet and all, in your first 5 months, my first time being down here, I hear the chatter and this and that and that and this. This thing called life, I don't think people understand. We all in this together. I could have been born 400 years ago. I could have been born 400 years later. But it's the now. The past is history. The future is a mystery. The only thing count is the now. That's why it's called the present, because it's the true gift in all our lives. Now, when you talk about this budget, I'm a business person, and I'm down here trying to figure out. Last year, I paid, me alone, my business paid $400,000 in taxes, $100,000 every 90 days. I've been taxed all my life, taxation without representation. Taxation without representation. All my life I've been taxed. I've been chasing this money because when they first came out with this legislation talking about cannabis taxation, the money was supposed to go back to the neighborhoods that was most affected from the war on drugs. And now, 4 years later, 3 years later, that money is just sitting in a bank account, being managed by the powers that be. Now, y'all have a deficit now. You know, of course, the treasurer that nobody's talking about is going to say he don't want a controller. Why? Because when it comes to currency, when it comes to paper money, the first count is always the best count. When it comes to paper money, who's ever counting that paper money first, 5 for me, 2 for you, 3 for you, 2 for me. You think they're not getting theirs off the top? They've always gotten theirs off the top. That's the way politics work. That's why it's called politics as usual. It's called politics as usual. Now y'all going to beat around the bush concerning this deficit, and at the end of the day, I'll bet anybody $1 in here, you're still going to bond your way out of this situation. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to get out of this situation of $37 million. They're going to bond their way out of this situation. So y'all can go through the rhetoric and talk, but at the end of the day, you're going to bond your way out of this situation, so you might as well begin the process now. Because when in Rome, you never try to reinvent the wheel. You get on the wheel and you ride the wheel. I came down here to talk about bonding, getting out of this deficit. You're going to have to start someplace, so you might as well start now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. That concludes our public comment period. What we'll do now is part of the meeting where council members get to speak to what comments were made. So, Mr. Johnson, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, normally when the gentleman comes and he speaks about the budget, I'm always interested in what he has to say. And I want to say thank you for your honesty, because I think that it is in haste that we are moving. I think it's troublesome for me because some of the same people that I heard stand up in here and congratulate each other on that budget are some of the first people to say that we need to bring someone else in. And I just say this, you know, maybe that is the response, you know, but I think the way that this administration has been pounced on in the first 5 or 6 months is, to me, it's not fair. I think that they did a lot of addressing, bringing in new talent in those departments, and I think that they should be given a chance to work us out of this situation. I think, you know, everybody has a lot of great ideals when you're number 2 and number 3, but when you get a chance to be number 1, you should be given the opportunity to show what you can do. And I don't think that our response to the numbers has been fair to this administration. I think that to immediately just say that we should bring another voice to the conversation makes it projects the image like they are the reason that we got to where we are right now. So I just wanted to say I always appreciate your perspective, because you can point out things that I can't see for myself. And, you know, it's nice to hear it coming from the community. You know, the community is a big part of what we do and why we do what we do. We should be always operating in the best interest of the community. And so I offered at Caucus on Wednesday, I said that I think that we should figure out how to get our arrows working together in the system that we already have. And this system that we have been dealing with, I've been listening to complaints for forever about. And, you know, times like this make us look at it and make the necessary adjustments in-house. I'm an athlete. And, you know, you don't start out winning the game. And sometimes, you know, when you find out in the game, it's a game of runs. In life, it's, you know, things are going smooth and things are rough. You have both. You want things to be more smooth than it is rough, but sometimes things get rough and we can't just make knee-jerk reactions. And so, you know, I voiced my feelings on Wednesday about I think the real conversation we need to have is addressing the in-house stuff, the stuff that should be working for us, the conversations that should be had and held in a timely manner so that we can talk to our constituents, which we don't get a chance to do, about what's really going on. And we won't, you know, even if it is bad, they won't be finding out like they have. So I just wanted to say thank you for your honesty, and I hope that we put some deeper thought into the fast move that we're making. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Flynn?
I just want to thank Ed Brennan and Tess for coming down and speaking on behalf of Batteries. Tess, you were great. I was Tess's basketball coach years ago, but you did a great job of speaking, Tess. Thank you. Because you may not be around for the meeting, because it could be long.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Robinson?
Thank you, Council President. I also want to echo the words of my colleague, Councilman Johnson. This is not my first rodeo in city government. My first term on council, I never voted on the previous administration's budget because every budget they made, it was doomed from the start. My colleague, Frank Camissu Jr., who was the chair of the Finance Committee, along with Judd Crasher, they had a real tune-in on what the budget or how the operations of the past administration was proposing and running it across council. And council would, year after year, pass this budget, and it wasn't even balanced. So what we are facing today is not, it did not happen overnight. It happened from when the previous administration first took office, you know, and for us to just immediately say, let's bring in a controller 100 days into the new administration's term without even giving her or her team even, you know, just giving them time to get a hold of this, you know, and move it in the right direction. We as a council, we are the one that passed these budgets. So let's not point fingers. Let's not say, hey, is this current administration, they knew about it. Council after council after council passed these budgets. So I definitely have to agree with my colleagues. We rushing to bring in a controller without giving the current administration, you know what I'm saying, time to wrap their heads around this and their hands around this, and if it comes to bonding their way out of it, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, solution they come up with, we should at least give them an opportunity, just like we gave the past administration the opportunity to do what they was doing, what got us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brody.
Thank you. I would recognize, I think, a lot of what my colleagues have said about needing to be a collaborative city hall, about making sure that we're walking the walk, that we're talking as well, and we're looking at the data with a very a sort of a curiosity that I think probably has not been looked at the data in a long time, to your point, Councilmember Robinson. I think where we might differ is that I think, because I agree with what you're saying about needing to validate the data, about making sure that this administration has the chance, I would include all of the new council members in that net new administration as well. And not having had the privilege to question or raise different topics during the debating of this year's current fiscal situation and the budget that we're currently in, I think it's actually totally reasonable, while we are short-staffed in the budget department, while most of us are new, to be calling in the expertise in a non-punitive, purely informational fashion. An Office of State Comptroller budgetary review is not an audit. It will not go into a blame game of any type. It is, as far as I understand it, literally just to understand the current facts of today's budgetary situation and our financial outlook. We cannot fix our problem if we have not defined it. And I know we heard from the treasurer on Wednesday. I unfortunately was not able to attend that meeting, but I know I forwarded a letter to all of my colleagues as well. The treasurer gave great, updates, but that information is by default old. The Q4 report is the most recent financial and budgetary information we have, and that was relevant as of December 31st, 2025. We're now almost halfway through 2026, and the departments are going to start, us included, are going to start putting together their budget asks for 2027 within the next 4 to 6 weeks. That means those departments need to know whether they're being told to cut, how much to cut, and when those cuts are going to need to be fulfilled, whether it's in 2027 or in an ongoing fashion. So I think I agree wholeheartedly with the idea of needing to work collaboratively and to just define the current problem in ways that reflect our finances today and that give us all a fresh perspective on where we might be able to collectively come together to understand how we solve our problems going forward. We're not going to get anywhere blaming anybody. We're not going to get anywhere doing, you know, he said, she said, gotcha sort of games, and that is not what an Office of the State Comptroller Budgetary Review does. I was pleased that the administration also afforded council staff access to the enterprise, the ERP system in the spirit of sharing data. I think that's not only a reasonable thing to do, but I think it gives us additional opportunity to ask questions and approach this with curiosity. Because like you said, Councilmember Robinson, I'm not interested in passing anything that we haven't had full access to the data on and understanding the consequences thereof. And I also think, you know, there's been the idea of, promoted by other council members, Councilmember Farrell promoted this idea first of sort of a financial working group. We need to roll up our sleeves. It's not just the mayor's responsibility to do that. They're doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and I think it's incumbent upon us as a council to also propose solutions. It's easy to tell everybody what the problem is, but I think we need to be part of the solutioning. And pulling on some of the minds that we're very lucky to have in the city of Albany and within our own council to come up with those solutions and evaluate paths forward is really something I think I would like to see this body shift towards, and I've raised my hand as being very willing to be part of that and pulling in people in the community who would as well, and getting started as soon as people would like to get started. I don't think this is anything that we can expect. You know, the mayor can't wave a magic wand and get us out of this by herself. She's going to need us to come up with some of those solutions and for us to be collaborative partners. And I think the way we start is by a totally public, open, honest conversation about where our numbers are today, so that we can collectively solution going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brody. Mr. Hoey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to remind my colleagues and the public that the council has very, very little control over the budget. If we don't vote to pass the budget, it passes anyhow. There's very little change. Just like with the school budget. You vote no tomorrow on the school budget, the budget that'll go in its place is very little bit cut back. So, you know, if we really want to do something long-term, we really should look at the charter. The last time the charter was adjusted was back around 2000. You know, if we want to have a little bit more say, we would have to, you know, propose a charter change, and that would be a referendum. But the only power that we have, it was brought up last week, is bonding. We can control the bonds. So if that's a way, you know, to kind of work things out, that's what we might have to do. But again, I want to work with the administration. We need to get out of this problem, but long term, we really should look at what type of power does the Common Council have. And we're kind of more democratic, where each one of us comes from a different part of the city. And I think that long term, that this council should look at and plan in the next few years to do a charter change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoey. Mr. Valorant.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank all my colleagues for having this discussion. I think this is part of what we need, and we need more of. I think we all have different ideas and different perspectives and different experiences, and I think actually having these difficult conversations more would actually help us guide us into a better process and a better decision making. With that said, there's some want to follow up on some colleagues' comments. I think we do have to look at our bonding. I think we have to look at the bonding we've already issued. I think we should relook at that bonding and see what we want to continue to move forward and what we want to possibly bring back to the table for another vote. I think that's very important. I mean, if we want to lower the debt, we still have a say in that if that money hasn't been spent. When it comes to bonding ourselves out of this, I don't think that would be the best solution, in my personal opinion. I think our best solution is to get our fair share from the state. I'm going to say that and say it time and time again. We are in this mess because the state has not given us our fair share. It's as if, and I'll say it for those who've heard it many times, you're going to say the same story you say time and time again. If you're a landlord and your tenants don't pay you your rent, it's hard for you to pay your bills. And if you own 100 units and 60% of those tenants aren't paying your rent, and then those 60% tell you, well, if you charge the other 40% more money, you'd be able to do some more repairs. Well, that's not the problem. The core of the problem is the state has not given us our fair share for decades. And that has created a compound effect that has affected our budgets for decades, which has put us more and more in debt so that we can fix any infrastructure that we could fix with debt. So there's been a lot of lost opportunities because of that, and I think any request that we put forward should have a request for an analyst analyzing the data of what would be our fair share and how much that would be times 30 years, and how much of an impact would that have affected our city if we would have gotten that. So I say that because I appreciate this public discussion. I think it's needed. I think it's part of what people want to see more of, and I'm glad we were able to do it as a full body, and I look forward to it. And I say look forward, but I really don't. But to be honest with you, because it's difficult conversations, and it's difficult decisions. Because if we go back to our bonds and say what projects we're not going to support, those are projects in our neighborhoods that we make careful, that we have to say we can't afford that right now. So that's not fun. And so when I say I look forward to the conversations, but I don't look forward to the work ahead, it's because I know that the work ahead means making some difficult decisions. That means some projects that we may want to have seen, we have to say we just simply can't afford now. And that is not a good place to be. So with that said, again, I appreciate all my colleagues. I appreciate the public coming and speaking on this issue and your different perspectives. I think that's good, and I think that makes us a better city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bauer. Okay, all set. Okay, next, moving on to approval of minutes. Ms. Farrell.
I offer the May 4th, 2026 regular meeting minutes for approval.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hoey. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next, reports of standing committees. Ms. Keegan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed local law, Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Assessment and Taxation Committee met on May 13th to discuss Ordinance 105126 regarding the granting of an easement over a portion of Broadway and the City of Albany's finances with Treasurer Darius Schauhener.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Housing and Community Development Committee met on May 11th to discuss the Albany Community Development Agency budget. The committee is currently scheduling another meeting on May 27th to discuss the Local Law H of 2026, which would add protections against housing discrimination and increase the enforcement of fair housing violations.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Damer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Planning, Economic Development, and Land Use Committee met on May 12th to discuss Ordinance 115126 regarding vending in the City of Albany and voted it out with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Mr. Hoey.
The Public Safety Committee will meet on Wednesday, May 20th to interview CPRB candidates.
Thank you, Mr. Hoey. Okay. moving on to consideration of local laws. Ms. Keegan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed local law. I asked for its introduction.
That's local law I.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read the law.
A local law amending the Charter of the City of Albany in relation to clarifying and revising requirements related to budget transfers after adoption of budget. Excuse me.
Thank you. Ms. Farrell.
Local Law I of 2026 will be referred to the Council's Finance Committee.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Hoey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Law J of 2026 and ask for its introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Hoey. Madam Clerk, please read the local law.
A local law amending Section 34-2, public notice of meetings of boards and commissions and boards, commissions, and committees of the Code of the City of Albany in relation to adjusting the requirements to notice public meetings to remain in compliance with New York State Open Meetings Law and allowing for short notice emergency meetings.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ms. Farrell.
Local Law J of 2026 will be referred to the Council's Operations Committee. With that, the rest of the local laws on the agenda are held.
Thank you. Okay, on to our ordinances. Ms. Keegan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Ordinance 105126 and ask for its passage by roll call vote.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read the ordinance.
An ordinance authorizing and directing the grant of an easement to Center Square LLC over a portion of the city right-of-way adjacent to 1233 Broadway, also known as 33 Center Street, tax map parcel number 66.29-2-59.
Thank you. Discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Adams.
Aye.
Anani.
Yes.
Ballerin, excuse me.
Yes.
Brody.
Aye.
Farrell.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes.
Hoey.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Keegan.
Yes.
Lumpkin.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Robinson.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes.
Zamer.
Yes.
15 in the affirmative.
The motion passes. Moving on, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Ordinance 115126 and ask for its passage by roll call vote.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Madam Clerk?
An ordinance of the Common Council amending Chapter 363, Vendors, Part 2, General Legislation of the Code of the City of Albany in relation to expanding mobile vendor opportunities in the City of Albany.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion, Mr. Adams.
Ordinance 115126 expands mobile vending throughout the city, allowing for more opportunities for residents to sell goods, but also now includes service outside the traditional food vending. As we look to move Albany forward, we must look to the new, innovative ways people are creating business and support residents here in the city of Albany. I hope everyone can support this legislation tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Being a sponsor of this bill, we went back and forth through threads, you know what I'm saying, for several weeks. And it's very important that we look at how hard it is to actually put food on our table and to be able to be creative, because for so long, you know, entrepreneurship or small businesses didn't have the opportunity to vend without the city, without paying high vendor fees or being deemed to be associated in one demographic area. You know, now with this this bill, you know, it gives the residents the opportunity to, you know, really, you know, put their entrepreneurial spirits and create, you know, economic opportunities not only for themselves but for their children. You know, because for so long, you know, our children haven't had the opportunity to learn, you know, the finances or the economics or the business early in life. You know, how it is that, you know, you can take, you know what I'm saying, a small amount and you can invest that small amount in something that you feel that you, just like kids, you know, growing up with lemonade stands. You know, that's their first teacher of learning finance. You know, and, you know, by this bill being passed tonight, you know, it would give that broad spectrum across the city where you will see a lot of young entrepreneurs, you know, really putting their craft to work to try to earn a living. And I think that's needed. I think it's past due. And I definitely want to commend my colleague, you know what I'm saying, Councilman Adams, for doing such a deep dive, and also corporate counsel working hard, you know what I'm saying, and making this legislation something that, whereas that we as a city, we're not gonna, you know, really, you know, find and fee our way out of our deficit through this bill, but we will give residents the opportunity, you know, to try to, you know, really, you know what I'm saying, make extra income to make ends meet. So again, you know, I just urge my colleagues to, you know, pass this bill, and let's see the city move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Mr. Johnson?
So I just want to say, I'm not a business owner, but a lot of times I hear people talk about their experience in trying to get established. And when you think about vendors, you know, I just think about Lincoln Park. I think about the hot dog man. It was Mr. Jones. He was out there for years, who worked in the city school district and, you know, was able to not only make a living as an entrepreneur, but he also provided kids who didn't have money opportunities to have food coming out of the pool. And I just think that it's our job to try to help streamline that process so that people can have that opportunity to get their feet wet in business. When I go outside of the city, you see people start out small, and over a course of time, their business grows. So, you know, I would love to see that opportunity happen more in Albany, and I just want to again say thank you, and I hope everybody will support this.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Brody?
I've always wondered why the food trucks are only in front of the Capitol. I think this is a great move. Living on the other side of the Capitol, I would like them to be in my neighborhood sometimes too. I know a lot of my constituents would as well. My only question is about, and I know the clerk and I had talked briefly before about maybe thinking through where vendors are able to go in Washington Park and other parks, that being part of the actual licensing review process, not the legislation. So I think I'm looking forward to working with this body and with the clerk on making sure we're giving those new vendors under this as much guidance as possible to make it as seamless a process as possible. My one question was about, having come from the county previously, sort of how the County Department of Public Health, how their health inspections might apply to this. I didn't know if that was something that was discussed, if it's going to be any different, or if anybody from the county has weighed in. I just didn't know if that was part of the discussion. And I don't know, I'm looking around because I'm not even sure exactly who to direct the question to.
I'll just go off what I know and I can pass it. Based on the type of business, whether they're selling foods or the beverage, or again, whatever product that they're selling, if that falls under the Food Administration guidelines or state guidelines, those business owners or people will still have to follow those same processes, as far as I know, and make sure that they have the proper documentation. So when they come to the city to complete or fill out a permit, that all that documentation is provided for them to have a good look or assessment on who to approve or what's missing from their application.
And I can speak to the fresh, uncut fruits and vegetables part of the legislation. You know, you don't need any. You do not pay taxes on fruits and vegetables as it stands. So, to my understanding, as long as it's fresh and uncut, you don't have to go to the guidance of New York State Health Department. It comes in, New York Health Department comes to the point where when you frying foods or, you know, vending trucks, they know that. And like Councilman Adams said, when they come to the city, that documentation must be presented to the city before the city even issue them the variance to either vend where they choose to vend.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if it's not cut, if it's whole fruit, for example, no health department need be involved.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah,
Once you
like-
cut it, comes a whole different story.
So I let this go on, but that's the kind of discussion that should have occurred in the committee meeting, where you walk through all of that stuff. So
I apologize for not being there. I couldn't make
no,
it.
no, it wasn't directed. It's just a general statement about it. But that's what the committee structure is for. You can dive deep, get all those questions answered, even bring people from the state in or other places to address any questions you might have. But we were roll call.
All right, Adams.
Yes.
Anani.
Yes.
Valorant.
Co-sponsor. Yes, co-sponsor.
Brody.
Yes.
Farrow.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Flynn.
Yes.
Hoey.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Jones.
Yes.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Lumpkin.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Powell.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Robinson.
Yes.
Williamson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes. Co-sponsor, please.
15 in the affirmative.
The motion passes. Okay, moving on. Mr. Adams, resolutions introduced. Excuse me, Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Resolution 49. Oh. Okay. The rest of the ordinances on the agenda are held.
Thank you. Okay, on to resolutions, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Resolution 3652, 26R, and ask for its introduction and passage by voice note.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council honoring May 2026 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the city of Albany.
Thank you. We need discussion, Mr. Adams?
As we celebrate Black History Month. Tongue-tied, excuse me. As we celebrate Bike History Month, just want to thank everyone for signing on to this. But I can't forget to mention.
No, Mr. It's AAPI.
Oh, excuse me, wrong one. All right, 38, 36. All right, 36. I'm grateful to sponsor this legislation for another year. The Asian American Pacific Islander community has created roots here in the capital region for many years. We want to acknowledge their resilience and hard work to make Albany a greater place. And we thank you for your contributions to our great city.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, you're all co-sponsors. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. The motion passes. Next, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Resolution 37.52.26R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing and celebrating May 2026 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the City of Albany.
Okay, discussion. Mr. Flynn? Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All co-sponsors, so we're doing a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No? Motion passes. Next, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed this
38? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Resolution 385226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing May 2026 as Bike Month in the City of Albany.
Discussion. Mr. Adams.
Resolution 385226R. As we celebrate Bike History Month, I cannot forget to mention how cycling has helped shape the design of our neighborhoods and city, allowing for better transportation modes to exist on the road. I want to encourage residents to get out on a bike and enjoy our great trails here in the city of Albany.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson, for further discussion.
Thank you, Council President. It's an honor to be a co-sponsor on this bill. First, I want to thank CDTA. Today, they dropped off 40 bikes to our location in West Hill, and within an hour, all 40 of them bikes was given away to a child. Year after year, they come through and they support this program that we've been having going on for the last 5 years. And just to see the smiles on these kids' on these kids' faces, you know, when they can take home a new bike, you know, is just astounding. And not only that, you know what I'm saying, through our program, once they have their bike, they can come back and they can learn how to, you know, fix a flat, adjust their adjust their bars, their seats, oil their chains. So it's not just that we're giving them a bike and they riding off. We engaging with them all summer with, you know, I'm just saying, having the equipment out there for them to come to a certain location and just sit down and engage in conversation and just watch them grow. So, you know, for to be honoring, you know what I'm saying, this month as Bike Month, it came at such a great time, because like I say, the venue we had this morning, it was just real touching to my heart. And I look forward to just working with these kids throughout the summer and making sure that they have bikes to ride and making sure they have a place to come and fix their bikes.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Any further discussion? Seeing none, you're all co-sponsors on it. Voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Okay. Next, Ms. Powell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Resolution 395226R and ask for its introduction.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the Common Council declaring itself to be lead agency for the State Environmental Quality Review of the Wrap Road Transfer Station project, declaring such action to be a Type 1 action and making a negative declaration as to the environmental impact of such action.
Thank you, Ms. Farrell.
that will be referred to the council's planning committee.
Thank you. Okay, next, Mr. Anani.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 415226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
40.
R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you, Mr. Anani. Madam Clerk?
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing and welcoming the students participating in the 2026 Youth in Government events.
Thank you. Comment? Mr. Anani?
Good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to welcome all of you to City Hall for Government Day. I want to thank students, parents, and organizers who made today possible. To all the students here in this building belongs to you. City Hall is where ideas become action, where communities come together to solve problems, and where leaders are called to serve. Today is not just about learning how government works. It is about understanding that your voice matters right now, not someday in the future. Many of the challenges we face as a city, public safety, education, housing, mental health, and environment, and economic opportunity, will ultimately be solved by your generation. That is why your ideas, creativity, and leadership is so important. I encourage each of you stay engaged, ask questions, speak up about issues you care about, volunteer in your community, vote when you are eligible, never believe you are too young to make a difference. I hope today inspires you to see the government not as something distant, but as something you can shape. Your generation has the power to bring fresh solutions, greater compassion, and new energy to public life. Enjoy your day at City Hall. I look forward to seeing you all accomplished in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anani. Further discussion? No? Comments? Okay, Mr. Robinson.
So, the main reason why I came here tonight was to see the inner workings of the Common Council and how we all can work together to vote on what we could use to better our community, which I would love to see, and I am very happy that I'm experiencing this right now. So, I could thank everyone here for giving me this opportunity to come here and see how this works. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further? Okay. All co-sponsors on this, so we're gonna get a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Okay. Mr. Ballerin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 425226R and ask you for its introduction and passage by roll call vote.
41, right?
Yeah, 41. Sorry about that. So say it again. Okay.
I
Okay.
notice Resolution 415226R and ask for its introduction and passage by roll call vote.
Thank you, Mr. Ballerin. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Albany Common Council calling on the New York State Legislature to pass Senate Bill S 3425 and Assembly Bill A 1466 and establish the New York Health Plan before end of the 2026 legislative season, or session, excuse me.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Discussion? Mr. Ballerin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank all the students for being here, but I also want to thank the fact that we are here. Part of what we can do is we can advocate for other bodies of government to pass different laws. So this is a resolution asking the state to move forward with Bill S 25 in the Senate and the Assembly, A1466. What these bills basically do is they ask for our state to create a single payer health care benefits for our residents. So just a little bit about why this would benefit state of New York residents. One, it would give a guaranteed health insurance, quality health insurance to all residents. It would make it so that families don't feel vulnerable when they lose their jobs or may have a gap between employment and not have the benefits that they would need. It also would make it so that one of the biggest expenses that families face would be decreased. Not just families would benefit, but actually local governments would benefit as well. If we as the city would save close to, I want to say 8 digits, that's tens of millions of dollars a year if we didn't have to pay, if we didn't have to pay for health insurance and if it was under a single care system. And finally, as individuals, number one reason for bankruptcy is because of health care related bills. So this statewide bill would make it so that people at their most vulnerable, when they're sick, when they may not be able to keep their employment, would have benefits that would give them a safe landing pad. So this is part of what we can do as a local government, which is to encourage the state government to push for policies that we support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baller. And Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Adams.
Yes.
Anani.
Yes, co-sponsor.
Valorant.
Yes.
Brody.
Yes.
Farrell.
Yes.
Flynn.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Hoey.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Johnson.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Keegan.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Lumpkin.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Howell.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Robinson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Williamson.
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes.
15 in affirmative.
The motion passes. Thank you. Next, Ms. Brody.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 425226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing May 20th, 2026 as World Bee Day in the city of Albany.
Okay, discussion. Ms. Brody?
So I actually will say something because I have worked on a lot of legislation involving bees because our bee population is diminishing. A lot of it is because of the different pesticides that are used we're now curbing the use of in New York State. So hopefully that population will come back. But bees are an integral part of our ecosystem, and it's pollinating things, but it goes beyond that. So and they're also incredible creatures that communicate. They work in hives. They do amazing things. So most bees that you see will not sting you if you leave them alone. This is different from wasps that are just big fat jerks, but also important to our ecosystem. But I think that recognizing Bee Day in the city of Albany is a truly wonderful thing, and I appreciate my colleague for bringing this forward. And I look forward, well, I've already said I was going to co-sponsor it, but I just think it's a great thing that we're doing.
Okay. You ready, Ms. Brody? Okay. Yeah.
I rise today to recognize May 20th, 2026 as World Bee Day in the city of Albany. World Bee Day is an opportunity to celebrate one of our smallest yet most essential creatures in our ecosystem. Bees are responsible for pollinating nearly 3/4 of the world's flowering plants and about 1/3 of the food we eat, from apples and blueberries to cucumbers, pumpkins, and almonds. Bees play a direct role in maintaining the healthy, diverse food supply that our communities rely upon every day. Without pollinators like bees, food production would decline dramatically, price would rise, and many nutritious foods would become far less accessible. Bees are not simply important to agriculture. They are vital to food security across the globe. Beyond our farms and gardens, bees also support biodiversity by helping plants reproduce and thrive. Healthy plant ecosystems provide cleaner air, healthier soil, stronger water systems, and habitats for countless other species. In many ways, bees help sustain environmental balance that supports all life. Unfortunately, bee populations around the world continue to face serious threats from habitat loss, pesticide exposure, climate change, and disease. That is why communities like Albany must continue promoting sustainable practices, supporting green spaces, planting pollinator-friendly flowers, and educating future generations about environmental stewardship. Today, as we recognize World Bee Day, let us also recognize our shared responsibility to protect pollinators and preserve the ecosystems that nourish our city, our state, and our planet. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hoey.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a former beekeeper, my hive died off with the hive wasting disease that is going around. But I can't tell you how exciting it is to actually raise bees and get your honey, and you open up a hive and there's like millions of these bees buzzing around you. I mean, you wear protective gear. But I just want to talk real fast that one of the biggest problems is that we're, with food production, we've introduced gene splicing like into corn, where we take the nematoid from a plant and actually splice that gene into the corn stalk. And that's what's killing a lot of our bees. So a lot of times the science is too far ahead and they're not looking at the consequences of what's going on. And hopefully, as a society, we can take care of this problem. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Hoey. Any further discussion? All co-sponsors, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. Okay, Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 495226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
44-3.
Yes, apologies, 435226R.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please.
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing May 31st, 2026 as World No Tobacco Day in the city of Albany.
Thank you. Ms. Farrell, discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. It is World No Tobacco Day is an important day to recognize the importance of not using tobacco for the health of our residents, and we think it is an important thing to recognize. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, further discussion? Seeing none. All co-sponsors, roll call. All in favor, say
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Let's see. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 455226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing May 4th through May 7th as 2025 National Air Quality Awareness Week.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Air Quality Awareness Week provides an opportunity for individuals to reflect on preemptive action and responses for events and environments affected by poor air quality. It is essential to disseminate knowledge on the impact human behavior has on air quality and how pollutants can impact human health.
Thank you. Madam Clerk? Excuse me, no, we're all co-sponsors. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Good. Motion passes. Mr. Lumpkin?
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 4652, 26R, and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the Common Council declaring Monday, May 25th, 2026 to be Memorial Day in the city of Albany and honoring America's fallen soldiers.
Discussion, Mr. Lumpkin?
Today, I am honored to introduce this resolution declaring May 25th of 2026 as Memorial Day in the city of Albany. This day reminds us to pause and remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. Their courage, dedication, and sacrifice will never be forgotten, and we owe a lasting debt of gratitude to them and to their families.
Thank you. Okay, all co-sponsors, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Mr. Robinson?
Thank you, Mr. President. I noticed Resolution 4752 26R and ask for its intro and passage by voice vote.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing May 3rd through May 9th as National Small Business Week and celebrating entrepreneurship in the city of Albany.
Thank you. Discussion, Mr. Robinson?
Being an entrepreneur requires a great business idea, financials, discipline, and deep resilience. Yeah, resilience. It takes ability to navigate market changes, strategic networking to build partnerships, and the drive to consistency market your product, as that often takes up the bulk of your daily task.
Thank you. Okay, all co-sponsors, so voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. Next, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 4852 26R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Madam Clerk?
A resolution of the Common Council recognizing May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Williamson?
Yes.
Whereas amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive, fatal neurodegenerative disease in which a person's brain loses connection with the muscles, slowly taking away their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. And with no cure available, most patients diagnosed with ALS only survive 2 to 5 years from the time of diagnosis, a prognosis faced by at least 1 in 20,000 upstate New York residents. And whereas people who have served in the military are more likely to develop ALS and die from the disease than those with no history of military service, and 90% of cases occur without a family history. And whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies is of vital importance to people living with ALS. And this year celebrates the 12th anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge through a renewed commitment to galvanize public awareness and support funding, leading to significant investments in ALS research. And the ALS Association, as the largest philanthropic funder of ALS research globally, has committed over $154 million to support more than 550 products across the United States and 18 other countries. And whereas ALS Awareness Month increases the public's awareness of people with ALS, dire circumstances, and acknowledges the terrible impact this disease has, not only on the person, but on his or her family and the community, and recognizes the research being done to eradicate this disease.
Thank you. All co-sponsors. So, do a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. Ms. Seymour.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 395226R and ask for its introduction and passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council celebrating the 78th Annual Tulip Festival in the City of Albany.
Discussion, Mrs. Zamer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have been to countless tulip festivals. It's always a great time, and I am happy to recognize it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All co-sponsors, voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. Next, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I notice Resolution 505226R and ask for its introduction and passage by voice vote.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read the resolution.
A resolution of the Common Council urging the City of Albany to halt installation of a battery storage system until the council has adopted new legislation that aligns with the guidance of NYSERDA and incorporates the concerns of residents.
Thank you. Discussion, Mr. Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Charlotte Baldus. I would like to speak on Resolution 505226R and urge my colleagues to vote in favor. In September, Council Member Jack Flynn met with Morris Cox, owner and CEO of Adaptive Infrastructure Partners. Their goal is to put battery stations behind 11 Hopi Street, which is a residential area. I did some research on battery stations, and I knew that I needed to get the city, Brad Glass, and residents involved. Instead of me going into pros and cons, I am asking my colleagues to research battery stations themselves. Councilmember Jack Flynn set up a meeting with Brad Glass, Councilmember Zamer, and Keegan, and other city staff for an hour and discussed possible legislation, USDO issues, and other issues that may pertain to battery stations. Jack Flynn then scheduled a neighborhood meeting at Martell's with Morris Cox and his team to give a presentation. They gave a very formal presentation and took questions from the audience. Most of the residents had major concerns about traffic, public safety, and noise. The New York Senate just passed S-2484, which directs the State Energy Planning Board to conduct a study on time frames for preparing renewable energy facilities for clean energy storage and distribution, demonstrating the growing need to research the impact of battery storage systems before construction. The intent of this resolution is to let the city and council members aware that we need legislation, rules, and regulations to deal with and tackle battery stations, as this affects the whole city. I'm not for or against battery stations, but I want to make sure the city doesn't take any projects or applications until proper procedures are followed. I urge my colleagues to vote in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Ms. Keegan.
While battery storage facilities help to make our electric grid more sustainable and therefore are a benefit to the Albany community, it is important that we pause in implementation to ensure we have appropriate regulations in place to ensure the safety and welfare of the public.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk. please call the roll.
Adams,
Yes.
Anani,
Yes.
Valoran,
Yes.
Brody,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes, co-sponsor.
Flynn,
Yes.
Hoey,
Yes, co-sponsor.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Keegan,
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Lumpkin,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes, co-sponsor.
Robinson,
Yes.
Williamson,
Yes, co-sponsor, please.
Zamer.
Yes.
15 in the affirmative.
The motion passes. Okay. All right, so, Ms. Farrell?
The rest of the resolutions on the agenda are held.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to miscellaneous or unfinished business.
Mr. President, if we could, instead of doing our regular miscellaneous, have each of our new council members introduce themselves.
Perfect. We'll start with the first ward and
And if each member.
oh, you want me to call? Yeah.
If each member could, maybe you could start with the first word and move on, and then if each member could introduce themselves, so tell us your name, where you go to school, what year you are, maybe neighborhood, something about yourself. If you are a senior and you have an idea of what you're doing next year, some may, some may not. If you could tell us that too, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Me? Yeah. Okay, we'll start with the first word.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Carmen Sampona. I go to Albany High School. I'm a senior. I intend to go to SUNY Stony Brook next year to pursue nursing. Fact about me, I'm one of 2 student board members with my colleague Cleanna over there, and we're the first for the City School District of Albany to serve that position.
Thank you. Second word.
Hello, my name is Savannah Sessoms. I'm a senior at Albany High School. I plan to go to RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, for biomedical engineering. A fun fact about me, I always go with I like to draw. So.
Thank you.
That.
Okay, third ward.
Hello, my name is Harriet Weston, and I'm a senior at Albany High School. My plan for next year is to go to Wellesley College to study political science and philosophy, and I'm currently working on a resource map for the city of Albany. So if any of you guys in this room have government services or volunteer organizations that have been particularly impactful to your constituents, I would love to hear it. And also if there are any immigrant languages that are spoken and are very prevalent in your wards, I would also love to hear that information as well to make sure that my project can be the best tool it can be to the Albany community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anya Miller. I'm also a senior at Albany High School. I'm planning to go to Brown University to study linguistics and political science. And I'm very excited about the chance of having ranked choice voting happen in Albany, and hopefully it'll pass by your desks very soon.
Thank you. So we'll go fifth.
Hello, I'm Miguel Venezuela. I'm a junior at Albany High, and my plans for the future are to continue to be active in their student government and to continue with supporting the community in any way I can. Thank you.
Thank you. Six.
Hello, my name is Cleanne Vermel. I currently attend Albany High School. I'm a senior, and my plans after high school are to go to UAlbany to study political science, then participate in their 3+3 law program, so I get to graduate early and attend Albany Law School. And as my co-member has said before, we are the student board members of Albany City School District. And funny enough, she's also the president, and I'm the vice president of our school student government. So, yes.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, next, 7.
Okay, hi. My name is Adream Powell. I go to Albany High School. I'm a junior, and I want to go to the Paul Mitchell cosmetology school after I graduate. And, what was that? Oh, if I'm back. Oh, I like horses.
So you coming back next year? Yeah, okay, good. All right, 8.
My name is Charlotte Baldus. I attend Albany High, and I'm a junior. After college, I don't know where I'm going, but I know that I would like to continue just anything in politics or government. And a fun fact about me is I do everything music involved at the high school because I play percussion.
Okay, thank you. All right, 9.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace Corlett, and I am a junior at Albany High School. I'm not exactly sure where I would like to go after I graduate from high school, but I know that I would like to have a career as a criminal defense attorney. And with trying to get to that goal, I am a part of the mock trial team at Albany High School.
Okay, thank you, yeah. Okay, 10.
Hello, my name is Daly Ford. I am a senior at Albany High School. One fact about me is I'm big into just learning, but after high school, I'm going to SUNY Schenectady to study for culinary arts.
Good. Okay, 12.
Hello, my name is Angelica Diaz. I'm a senior at Albany High School. After high school, I plan to attend SUNY Delhi for baking and pastry management. And a fun fact about me is I speak 2 languages.
Cool, thank you. 13.
Good evening. My name is Olivia Stoyer. I am a senior at Albany High School. I plan on attending SUNY Stony Brook majoring in social work and minoring in women and gender studies. A fun fact about me is I am the managing editor of the Nest newspaper, and I am the treasurer and vice president of the chemistry club at Albany High School.
Cool. Yeah, a lot going on. 14.
Hi, my name is EJ Verhoff. I'm a senior at Albany High School. Shout out to the 14th district. And I'm attending St. John's University in Queens on a advanced master's program in education with a minor in international relations. And a fun fact about me is that I love Cher. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so how about we end on a round of applause for to celebrate our
Not really.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.